Chapter 12 will introduce an extension of proportion inferences. There are so many other methods deals with proportion inferences, and we'll introduce a couple of them here. Remember, we talked about one sample proportion inference in chapter 9 and 10, and briefly mentioned about two sample proportion inference. We said generally we use chapter 12 ideas for this. We'll introduce a new distribution called chi-square distribution in chapter 12. And using this distribution, we'll do something called goodness of fit test and independent test, chi-square independent test. So goodness of fit test here is an extension of one sample proportion test with more than two categories. For example, before we deal with either like or do not like Coke kind of scenarios. So here the P is the proportion of preferring Coke, and we only have categories for your answer will be either prefer Coke or not. And then we talked about getting a sample and calculating P hat and estimating P and hypothesis test for P. The goodness of fit test can deal with the cases that you have more than two categories. So for example, in our case, it can be prefer Coke, prefer Pepsi, prefer Dr. Pepper and others, or even more categories we can deal with. Chi-square independent test is an extension of two sample proportion tests with more than two categories. For example, before we compare a Coke preference between male and female. This time, now we deal with for example, each of them has a multiple categories. Coke, prefer Pepsi, prefer Dr. Peppers and others. And for more than two groups. So for example, teenager group, college student group, and senior groups, and so on.